I'd now like to invite up on stage as we continue this journey through sort of operational excellence and sort of really innovative products. And I think this is an interesting way of thinking about lead generation and about how do I get from where I currently am and take my brand to where the consumer is. And this is becoming more and more important as that younger generation is now becoming older, and as they're aging, they're bringing their consumption behavior with them. So I'd like to invite up on stage Gil. Where's Gil? Gil Sperling. Okay, Gil, fantastic, from Flow. He's going to talk about how off-site, so off the actual portal, social media ads are revolutionizing how portals are operating.
Great.
Gil, over to you.
Thanks, Simon. Hello, everyone. Great to be here. So I come from South Africa. The leading dominant portal in South Africa is called Property24. I'm sure you've all probably heard of it. Incredibly impressive business, very profitable. But recently, and Ed actually wrote about it on online marketplaces, the Competition Commission in South Africa put quite a bit of pressure on them, essentially putting a lot of pricing pressure, and they have to abide by a bunch of rules now to loosen up a lot of the things that they're doing. Right? So they have a lot of pressure, and like any portal, they need to continuously innovate. Right? So generally the theme at these conferences is that the directions that portals are moving is either we doubling down on the core advertising products, lead gen products, right? There are certain routes, but I'm going to focus on the advertising product, right? So the problem for Property24 is that if they really got to double down on their advertising business, there's just no more space. Right, so there are featured listings, there are premium products, there are branded, branded listings. So how do they launch more products to innovate, right? And the opportunity is that their audiences are underutilized. They've got 3.3 million unique visitors every month, making up about 15 million visits in a month. But on average, that unique person spends about 30 minutes a month on their website, right? So the issue is that they are competing with the attention economy, right? Online, on the internet, it's really about grabbing the consumer's attention. And so 30 minutes a month is very, very difficult to compete with social media that is 3 hours a day on average, right? So the question is, how do you bridge that gap? How do you take advantage of that? So as I said, social media has your attention, the consumer's attention. 90% of, and if I keep on with the South Africa example, 90% of consumers, the internet consumers, are reached on social media. On average, they spend 3 hours a day, and they come back. 70% of them come back every single day, right? So again, in South Africa, there are 26 million people on social media. Globally, almost 3 billion, right? So again, how do we bridge the gap? How do portals capture their audience's attention? The answer is retargeting. Okay, and it's not just plainly retargeting, but it's how it's done, how it's packaged, that I'm going to walk you through some of our learnings. Okay, retargeting is basically when you take your audience, people who have visited your website and have done something on your website, and you can find them on social media. So if I use Instagram as an example, the way that you find them on social media is either you're tracking them on the browser or by passing around your first-party data and matching, and there's a bunch of technical ways of doing it, but you can absolutely find them, and you can find them where they're spending their time, and ideally provide them content that is relevant, that is based off your content on listings. So what portals are doing is they are building off-site extension products. It's in essence, a great way to think about it is that they're extending their audience and they're extending their inventory onto social platforms. Right, so retargeting, of course, is the mechanism, but it's really all about how it's packaged. Okay, so it's the capability to build at scale, the ability to build and convert listings into posts, into ads on social platform, to target your audience and to bring them back to your portal. Okay, now I'll show you a few examples. So Homely, the third largest portal in Australia, has recently launched a product. And in terms of positioning, when you turn on Homely Promoter, you're generally going to see 5x growth on your listing view. So the exposure is tremendous. And that's not touching any inventory on their website. Cars.com launched Fuel quite a few years ago. A similar product for the car dealers. In their first year, they saw an 8% increase in average revenue per dealer. Right, so incredibly successful for them. REA has had this product for a long time. We've been following them for a while. Our estimate is that it's a $10 million business for them at least. And again, it's not touching the inventory on their site. It's taking advantage of extending their audience off-site. And the last one, same for CRM businesses. Right, PropData is the dominant CRM and website provider in Southern Africa. And they've launched a product that automates the extension of sole mandate listings onto social platform, driving traffic back to agency websites. Okay, so how do you commercialize something like this? If you have a subscription business, as an example, and we actually have a client that we're doing with for as a performance business too, but I'll focus on subscription. The great thing about subscription is that you can have this product as a complete set and forget. It's sold once by your sales team. It's plugged into a subscription. Either it's an add-on or it's bundled, but the great thing about bundling is that it's easier for invoicing, for collections, for the optics of the performance of the product as well. And of course, there's an upsell opportunity, so if it is bundled into higher tiers, it's maybe something, a hook for you to kind of pull them over into a higher tier. The second one is, how do you position this? Right, so one can create packages, as we call it in our world. A package could be promoting listings that are going on show this week, right? Or promoting your sole mandates or your exclusive listings only, right? And or even like your stale listings. Often you may have listings that are on your website for on page 4 already and not getting the exposure, and you can turn this on, driving traffic back to them while they're on page 4. Right, so there are very creative ways that you can position this, and it's usually bundled into your commercial model. There's even a further opportunity, right? Earlier, we heard yesterday, actually, that consumers like to go through a visual discovery process when they're in the market looking. In other words, when the listings come to them on social platforms in a very visual, immersive format, a lot of that journey begins there. And so the agent's wallet generally is being spent, of course, on portals. These are just very generic average numbers, but you get the idea. And they also definitely have other digital budgets and branding budgets, right? And so there's a way to kind of start eating into that wallet. And of course, it's because these channels are very immersive. You've got an opportunity to provide a branding product and in a similar way package it in and start going after that wallet that generally portals don't have the capability for. So the benefits of a product like this that we've seen with portals is, of course, bundling it into your commercial model. There's more recurring business, recurring revenue, and you're going after parts of the wallet that you may not have been able to. It's a very sticky, novel product. Often we see in different markets a lot of demand from agencies to want to go on social platforms where they just don't have the capacity, the ability, the capability. And so it's a great way to retain agents. Of course, the hack is that you're driving traffic back to your portal off the back of more of the agent's wallet. Right, so there's a traffic opportunity, and it can be built in a set and forget way. Generally, a lot of portal businesses that we've seen try and build up a team. It's a very complex environment and difficult to do, but there are, of course, ways to do it in a very automated way because the APIs for these platforms are available. So just to end off, our company is an offsite extension platform. It's a highly configurable platform allowing portals to put these packages together, to plug it into their business, and automatically create ads. Cool. Got 5 minutes left. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Good. Thank you very much for that. Volume up, thanks. Thank you. Couple of questions. And we'll start with the audience when I've got some few questions. Yeah. How is the solution different from Criteo and RTB, etc.?
Yeah, great question. So Criteo and RTB House A portal may use it for their own marketing to drive, their own paid media strategies and objectives, whereas a product like this is about taking that capability and selling it to, 5,000 offices or agencies to use, right? So it's about the scale and running thousands of little campaigns that are plugged into your commercial model. The other one is just a marketing function.
Okay. How does the phasing out of third-party cookies impact retargeting?
So I think this is where portals have a major advantage over anyone else who's trying to do marketing. The cookie phasing out is an issue if you're purely doing it on retargeting via traffic. But when you've got your own first-party data, it's yours and it's your prerogative, and you can match that back to the social platforms. So you actually, I think in the next 3 years, portals have a major advantage because they're sitting on a tremendous amount of first-party data.
Okay. Now, do you send any traffic back to the agencies that originated on a portal?
It can be configured how you like. So generally, it's to the portal, but you can actually set up a system to push it wherever you like.
Okay. So let's. I want to try to understand some things a little bit better.
Sure.
I'm on social media, not very much, but let's say I am. Okay, and you're learning a bit about me. Do you learn enough about me to target the houses that I'm actually looking for, or am I just getting hit because I'm in a demographic group?
We learn about you because you've already browsed the portal, right? So essentially the portal gets tagged with whatever behaviors or activity are important. So I can quickly see that you're interested in properties between $1 million, $2 million that are apartments, right? And that tells a lot, and therefore I can serve you more properties between $1 million to $2 million an apartment. So
right. And that'll just chase me around the web.
Yeah.
Okay, wherever I go. And then I guess it depends on the portal side. The more information that they learn about me, the more refined that comes. Instead of 1 to 2 million, it might be looking for next to a park or near the beach or whatever is most important to me.
Yes.
So it's based on what it learns about my criteria,
Yeah.
and then it follows me out there.
Exactly, and you can actually leverage the AI that the social platforms provide, which ultimately learn a bit more of the data that you provide them, and it can extend it a bit. So you can combine both your intelligence as a portal with the social platforms that obviously have a lot.
So on the social media platforms, I don't know if it's on Facebook, I've had a kid or whatever, it's now learning about me from that dimension.
Right.
That you can actually start to
You can augment it, correct.
Mash up the two.
Correct.
So how does AI play that role?
Well, on the side of Facebook, their optimization to serve an ad to someone is essentially an AI machine that predicts the chances of you converting, right? Which is obviously the relevance of the ad. So it's a targeting piece. On our side of the business, AI actually comes in two forms. We're sitting on 1 billion impressions of campaigns that we've run. So we've got a tremendous amount of data, off of which we're now going to generate ads and the actual image of the ad based on what the AI machine learns. And the second one is if you're publishing thousands of ads every month, you kind of have to guard against bad content or enhancing content, and there's another opportunity for AI there too.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you a slightly difficult question. If you roll the clock forward, so if we go back 10 years, we weren't really talking about taking ads from portals and having them appear on Facebook or whatever in this sort of retargeting way.
Right.
Now we're doing it. What does the next 5, 10 years look like? How do you think about that future?
Yeah, great question. I do think that it's a far more integrated experience, and that it's a person's journey of property buying or consideration or whatever it is a full funnel. It happens offline as well, back into online, and I think when you have a marketing mix model that combines it in a smart way, I think that's where a portal could win, because they actually offer a full view of a customer's journey and be part of it all along. And the more digitized the transaction becomes, the more you can incorporate it. So I do see it being holistic.
Okay, and I'm going to go back to the element, or one of the themes of trust that I think is running through the conference. It would seem to me that the smarter I use the data from the portal, and the smarter I use the data from a Facebook or a LinkedIn or whatever the other platforms are that I integrate with, the more I'm able to give you what you really need, which then builds trust in me as a platform that is truly working on your behalf,
Right.
rather than just spamming you with whatever content.
Correct. So it's all about relevance, right? And relevance builds trust. And so even the social media ads ecosystem is about rewarding an advertiser who's providing relevance. If you think about it, Instagram don't want spam on it because their users are going to fade. So they have to reward the advertisers that are providing relevance. So their algorithm is naturally built for that. And the more data that you provide it, the more relevance, the more trust, especially with brands that exist for 20, 30 years, they already have an advantage.
Okay. Gil, thank you very much. I love what you guys are doing, and well done.
Thanks, Simon.
Thanks
for having me.